Looks like we're live on the Bradley J Show. Welcome, everybody, and welcome to the tremendous two here. Sean Logan, Chachi, just Chachi. Do you say Chachi Lapret or Chachi?
Just
Cha,
Chachi,
Chachi. You're just yeah, a person with one,
like Oedipus
like
and
Oedipus or Madonna.
Madonna. Yes,
Aristotle,
that's right. Thank you, John. That's very, very nice.
And we're here and we're all excited because this is the big day for this month's Come Together, as I mentioned, a Multi-Media Fab Four Experience with these two, the tremendous two here. And each month, each episode, it gets tighter and better and more fun. Most of all, it's more fun. And we're here to talk about what's going down tonight at the City Winery. So we'll talk about the City Winery too and how easy it is to get to and how good it is. But we want you to know what you'll be missing out on if you do not come, basically. Correct?
Well, you're very kind, Bradley, and I know I'm speaking for John as well when we say thank you for your continued support. You were there from the very beginning. Yeah, we started in September doing a show at the winery, a Beatles-centric show with John and his talented Beatles-inspired magic that he does, and it has picked up so well that the winery, asked us to do a show a month, so we're there till December, and tonight we have another big show. There's going to be a bunch of notable people in the audience. You are one of the amongst those, and you're going to MC. And tonight's show, we are celebrating this day in history. And what was this day in history? Well, the Beatles landed in America on February 7th. They hung out in New York preparing for the Ed Sullivan Show on February 8th. And they played the Ed Sullivan Show on February 9th. Being a first-generation Beatles fan, I sat with my family in Cambridge, and I was just blown away. It changed everything. There was a seismic shift in how we listened to music. And our generation got our own musical heroes. We were no longer hanging on to the likes of Bobby Vinton and so on.
I don't ever remember hanging on to the likes of Bobby Vinton. Do you?
Well, my parents, they would be
Okay.
listening to the Singing Nuns and all those kinds of acts before the Beatles came along. So it is a Beatles Ed Sullivan centric show tonight.
Yeah.
It is really interesting to look at the songs that were in the charts at the time and how mixed it is. There's some of the modern stuff, and then there's some of that really old weird stuff as well, like Mac the Knife or something like that.
That's right, John.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about tonight. We have a lot going on tonight. We have live music by Cora and Ashley and a few members of Studio 2, one of the best Beatles tribute bands in New England. A few members that's going to be there. A lot of new magic I'll be doing as well. I actually have a sneak peek right here. I have a beach ball that I'll be using during the show at some point. So if you're curious about what this beach ball is all about, come to the show and I'll show you. And we have a lot of multimedia in this show too. A lot of behind the scenes stories of the Ed Sullivan Show. A lot of kind of photos and videos, and it's going to be a really fun time. And we're going to celebrate a little bit of George Harrison's birthday as well. Kind of mix that in there. So if you like magic, if you like music, if you like underground stories, the Beatles, food, wine, this event has your name all over it.
Yeah, would you say, John, that you are the world's greatest Beatles magician?
Only.
You don't have to say the only part. You can just go, probably. Yeah.
Sure thing. If that's what people want to call me, I won't disagree with that. But
Okay.
It's fun. It's really fun.
I remember before I had gone, one of my questions was, and you guys can't remember this, or you never knew because you plan it, but you might wonder, well, what goes on in somebody's head when they hear about this thing for the first time? How do they visualize it? And how they visualize it might affect whether or not they show up. And I didn't get what Beatles-centric magic was. I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
And only after I went did I get it. Maybe you can spell it out. And
Sure.
so it formulates in people's brain and they can visualize it.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. So I do a lot of what I call modern day magic. So you borrow things from the audience, and it's really fun. So essentially, I explain a Beatles story or background, but through the magic. So you're learning about the Beatles in a really entertaining way through the magic as well. So I have my own show. It's called Magic with the Beatles, and that's how it all sparked. And then Chachi and I started collaborating. We created Come Together, the show tonight. And that's what it is. So I've always been fascinated by the Beatles music. I thought when you listen to the Beatles, you kind of get a magical feeling. And then I've been doing magic for about 15 years. I travel the country performing shows all the time. I just got back from Atlanta last night, and I do magic there. And I said, well, wait a minute, what if I combine them both together at the same time? So that sparked the whole idea of magic with the Beatles. So it's fun. It's really fun.
Now, John, you look, I don't know, 28 or so. How did you come across the Beatles, and how did they resonate with you at age 28? I wonder if it's a similar thing with Chachi, because the context is different, so maybe the way it resonated was different.
Yeah, it's a great guess. And I'm 29, so you're off by one. That was a great guess. Wow. Maybe you should be our opening act and be a mind reader. That's pretty good.
No, I'm not good.
So I was in second grade, and I received the one CD from the Beatles, the one CD. And I remember Love Me Do was the first track, and I remember putting it in, and I said, wow, this sounds a little bit different than what I typically hear of music. And then I played the next track, and all the way through the last track was A Long and Winding Road. And as Beatles fans out there, that Love Me Do they released that, one of their first songs they released, Long and Winding Road. That was later on in their career. And it sounded just like two completely different bands, but the creativity behind it and the music and the lyrics, it just sparked some emotion I never really felt before. And that's how I got into the Beatles. And just growing up, I just started listening to their interviews and listening to their music more, and their creativity process I was really intrigued about, and just the amount of things that they could achieve within such a short amount of time just really blew me away.
My association with the Beatles is that they were just kind of the soundtrack to a lot of my life, because there were a lot of Beatles songs out at the time. I remember in grammar school that the girls were always dancing in their socks in this particular Beatlesy way, and I would try it. I tried it and I couldn't do it, and I always knew right then that girls, at least, were better dancers than guys. Just were. The other thing was, my very first slow dance with a girl, which is a huge event, was to Hey Jude. So it was a big, long dance.
Wow.
Yeah. And another standout moment was we built a raft out of, those logs on the highway so you don't go off the road, posts, guardrail posts. Well, a bunch of them had gotten rotten and fallen off. So we put them in the water and put a board across them and got on and floated around. But it tipped and all the logs came out and we sank. And and what's the song? He's got mojo, blah, blah, dun.
Let's come together.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. That song, every time I hear that song, I'm falling off that raft. So it was kind of the soundtrack.
So did the radio go into the water? And
no, but this was a small pond. And there's probably a car parked it was right beside the road. But that's a good question. I knew that might be in people's minds. So there you go. So tonight, it's at City Winery. And the fact that it has that City Winery makes it a better thing as well, because it's a great environment. It really is a convivial environment. It's not like you go and just see a show and don't talk to anybody. There's really a lot of interaction between people going on. It's a lot of fun, and it's easy to get to, which is what I love. I don't have to take an Uber anywhere. It's just right on the T. There's a giant parking garage right there, right?
Yep. Government Center.
It's on Beverly Street. You guys are probably, if somebody wants to punch it into their Google.
Yes, it's just a few blocks from the Boston Garden where the Beatles performed in '64. But you're right about the environment. It is a room full of like-minded Beatle fans, and there's a lot of love going on, a lot of peace and love, strangers talking to strangers, because you're not strangers when you're there for the purpose of enjoying the Beatles. And in this case, our show, it's a very entertaining show. You learn a lot, but in a fun way. There's music. Now, the thing about tonight, we're celebrating the anniversary of the Ed Sullivan Show, but Corin Ashley, who is a notable Boston musician, we've known him for years, great musician, and he has teamed up with the guys, as John said, from Studio 2. And what they're going to do is they're going to come out twice during our show, just like on the Ed Sullivan Show. And the first time they come out, they're going to recreate the 5-song set that the Beatles performed in the order that they performed them. And then they'll come back later in the show to perform a couple of George songs in honor of his birthday, which is coming up later in the month. And so it is a peace and love affair. You get to meet a lot of people, and I've been on the radio with the Beatles show for so many years. There's a community of Beatle fans, and they all come out for our show, which we are so honored that you do and they do. And the winery is a fantastic place. The food is great. The beverages, the drinks are great, and it's such a nice environment, and everyone's just together. And you know what, Bradley? We play trivia, but in an interesting way. We ask a trivia question, but we give the answer and we tell a story behind the question. Right. And so we give away Beatle prizes. So some of the prizes tonight will be a pair of tickets for Denny Lane, who is performing at the winery tomorrow night. And then we have things like Beatles guitar picks, Beatles socks, original Beatles vinyl. Sorry, I'm touching my mic here. Original Beatles vinyl. We're big fans of Beatle vinyl, provided by Cheap Thrills Music, Bob Walsh and Dedham. And so there's a lot of prizes, a lot of stories, fun, very visual, multimedia. John does a fantastic job with the images on the stage, films, audio. And so it's a packed evening. And, and a lot of people come to us, John, right? They say, that was the fastest 2 hours we've ever experienced.
Yeah, because we try to make a little bit of everything for everyone, right? We have, and we try to create the show where if you know nothing about the Beatles, if you can't even name the four Beatles, you'll still have a good time because we kind of break it down for everyone. And so even if you're a Beatles rookie and you know nothing about them, you'll have a great time. And if you know everything about the Beatles, you'll still have a good time. So we try to make it like that for everyone.
That's a good point because I am not a huge Beatle expert. But I love the whole thing. I love going there and learning. Every time I go, I learn more, and I see video that blows me away that I know that people haven't seen before. Those old shots, those video things are powerful. They're powerful stuff. Another thing to note that if you've been to BCN things in the past and you want to know what it feels like a BCN thing. It has that because there's a lot of BCN people there. So that were listeners, and you're there, and I'm there, and David Bieber is there, and you never know who else is going to show up. So there's that. If there's that other thing that you have in common, you probably listened to BCN with the person beside you. People come from all over the country to this. There was a guy from Jersey last time. Well, that's not exactly all over the country, but there was a guy from Jersey last time.
There was a guy from London, I feel like a few weeks ago. Yeah. There was. And it's really fun because we're there every month, and every month is a completely different show as well. We talk about different stories. I do different magic. We have different music. It's all different. So a lot of people that come, it's great because, like you said, Chachi, it's like a family, and I start meeting new friends and people and repeat people. It's just a really great community, and especially if again, like I say, if you know nothing about the Beatles, you'll still have a great time there because we have such amazing people that show up and are very, very welcoming as well.
Another thing that I kind of wondered about before I had gone was the general tone, and it's important to note that it is such a slick pro show. It's so professional, even when before it starts, there's stuff to watch and experience, and then once it gets going, it's da 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 da. I mean, it really goes. It doesn't go. It goes wham bam, wham bam. and so on.
Thank you, Chachi.
And so
wham bam. Thank you, John and Chachi.
That's right. So I'm super excited. I shaved for the event. Like I even used my straight razor to get that.
Oh my God! You use a straight razor?
I'm a real man, baby. Can you see?
Oh my God! You be careful. I could never. I mean, oh my God!
But you know, your executive producer to be trained on the straight razor.
Yes, the lovely Stephanie is part of our team. Yeah. She does a lot of the heavy lifting on the show, and so we love Steph. But the other thing tonight, we're really happy to say that Bradley J is going to MC the show for us. And that's an honor.
It's going to be a very casual thing. I'll just come out and greet you and chat a little bit, and we'll all just get you in the mood. Oh yeah, so. Well, I'll talk about this after. It's about how things are going to go. But I'll talk to John about it later. So some big names going to be there tonight. That's fun, and some fun people. Everybody's fun. Some repeat people. I got to say, each time it gets more and more fun. It must get a little more fun for you too.
For me, it does. I think I can say the same for John. We enjoy it.
Mhm.
We let me tell you, and we put a lot of work into
I was
this
going to
these
say,
shows every month. I mean, because like John said, it's a different show. I mean, we could just go in there and be like a theater show. It's the same show every month, but we attach the shows to themes, thematical, historic events throughout the year in the Beatles history. I might as well plug our next show. It's Monday, March 13th, and we will be taking a look at the Beatles on film, all of their movies: Hard Day's Night, Help, Let It Be, Magical Mystery Tour, Yellow Submarine, and other films that people might not know about. But also, our big performer next month is the great Sal Baglio, who's a
oh, well,
huge Beatles fan. So
Mhm.
Sal will be performing on March 13th. And tonight we're giving away tickets to Rain, a tribute to the Beatles, playing at the Hanover Theater in April. And as John said, different show every time, and we do have repeat guests, and we love that. Meaning audience members, they keep coming back, and we're just honored that that happens. So
right. It's kind of like the Grammys. The day after the Grammys, they hit the ground. They start planning next year's Grammys. But you guys have to do it every month.
that's
That's
right.
every.
We'll be working on it first thing tomorrow morning. Well, after
Yeah.
we sleep a little bit, because the nights go late for us. But
Yeah.
you know what? You know what I enjoy, Bradley. I've tried 95% of my diet is pretty much meatless, no animals. But I love the winery burgers, and so I
You get a
always have a
burger all the
burger.
time?
Just right before the show, I'll have a burger.
Yeah.
It's the only really time I will get away from the vegetarian aspect. But I do love the winery food, and that's my point. It's great
Mhm.
food, and so I enjoy it. And Bradley,
Yeah.
we'll have dinner together with you tonight.
As a matter of fact, that's a thing. It's not just something. The food is so good. It's not just something you do while you watch so you don't get hungry. It's a real reason to come. Because have one of those pizzas for one thing. Last time I had some oysters, and they have this really good chef that does. There were a dozen oysters, and he did something different to like some of them. There were like three different types of treatment that he gave them that were fantastic, and a
Wow.
salmon ceviche.
Wow.
So there's fancy good stuff, but the burger, as you say, and the pizza,
Yeah.
you should, folks, you should definitely pick something on that menu and try it out. And of
And
course,
I got an email from a listener who was coming, and the question was, "Can we eat during the show?"
oh
And we're
yeah,
like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
eat,
completely.
order during the show." The waiters and waitresses, servers, I should say, are there
Yeah.
during the show. We want you to eat. We want you to drink and have fun. And I get funnier the more you drink throughout the show. John is naturally a funny guy, and
The
so
magic
actually,
is better the more you drink as well.
yeah, I mean, I saw someone online say that John was more of a comic, and I thought that was funny. So John's
Yeah.
a stand-up comedian.
I guess
A little
I'll
bit
add
of-
that to my resume as well.
Yeah.
So a little bit of John trivia. He's a super go getter. I was thinking about you last night, John, and what kind of advice you might give to somebody young who's just flopping around doing nothing. And I think that really what you have to do is you got to work super hard and not be an a-hole. Those are the two main things to success. You got to really work hard, and people don't understand how hard you have to work. It's got to be something that you'll put in hours and hours and hours. And the stuff that's who you are. You just work your brains out all the time. And look where you are at age 29 now. You are getting a little bit old.
Thank
People don't know that you are also, besides being the world's foremost Beatles magician, you're the world's foremost, I think, New England Patriots musician, right?
Yeah, a few years ago, I had my own show with the players for the New England Patriots. So every week, a new player would come to the studio, and I would do a trick for them, and they would put on their social media and TV and things like that. And that Brady actually mentioned me in his press conference, which was really cool to hear. And that actually led to a collaboration with Malcolm Mitchell. He was a wide receiver on the team, and now I help Malcolm's organization, and we travel all over the country. That's why I was in Atlanta yesterday. So yeah, you never really know where life will take you, and I think I've just been very honored to be surrounded by such a great team, especially John Vale, who's the associate producer of the show as well, and one of my greatest friends is also a magician, and that's a thing. Just like you said, Bradley, just surround yourself with good people, and it's great.
Yeah.
And
You got to
and
get out there
Bradley,
and put yourself you take chances. Like you went out to the Patriots and go, I'm a magician. I want to work for you guys. And you did a trick and they loved it. Who'd you do the trick for? Who was your audition with? Bob Kraft?
No, it was actually it's a
Stacy,
funny
Stacy, what's his
Stacey
name?
James.
Yeah.
No, Stacey's a great guy. I love Stacey. I have a background in marketing as well. So they hired me for a marketing position, but they realized I was a magician as well. So it's actually their idea to have me perform for the players, which was really cool to hear. So it just kind of took off from there.
There's one more quick thing about that, and we'll get off this. What's the context of how Tom Brady mentioned you? Was it in the press conference? Did he say, "Boy, though, we really had to have some magic, just like John Logan, to win that one"? How did he do it?
Yeah, so if you go to my website, which is johndukelogan.com, there's a video on there that shows it. But a reporter asked him what he thought about me, and he said some really nice words about me. So if you go to johndukelogan.com, like John Lennon, Duke University, Logan Airport, johndukelogan.com.
and I will also add, Bradley, in more a little touting over John's talents. He was on America's Got Talent, Full House in the theater, standing ovation from the audience, including the judges, and Howard Stern amongst the judges was standing and applauding. So, and you and I know, I mean, Howard was on BCN. It's not easy to get him to like that.
Howard's seen a lot.
Yes.
That's great. So let's recap, folks. This is the big night tonight, celebrating the Beatles' arrival and their performance on the Ed Sullivan Show. Come together, a multimedia Fab Four experience tonight. City Winery, located, I call it right by Haymarket Station, Haymarket T Station. It was 1 block from there. I get out and I think, I got to walk, and I go, wait a minute, it's only 1 block every time. I'm here already. So that's cool.
Yes. Now get there early, Bradley. We're there starting at 2. You're invited to come by anytime. But the doors open. The doors are at 5.
Yep.
Show's just past 7 o'clock, and it's just a really great vibe, a Beatle vibe, relaxed. It's not like you're going to the opera,
Nope, it's not.
It's a big chill event. It's a great chill event, and you get to meet a lot of people, and you develop friendships. And you get outside again, and it's a lot of fun.
If you go once, chances are you like it enough so you will actually go again. That's how good it is. That's my.
Well, thank you, Bradley.
That is my take. Okay, I don't want to be redundant. I want to save a little gas in the tank for tonight, you guys, and I want you to save some too. So
that's why I'm having my coffee right now. My Beatles, my Help coffee.
Oh, look at that!
My Help mug.
I don't
I don't have that.
I have this though. I don't have a Beatles one, but I have this.
Oh wow,
spit.
Cool.
A spit mug. Do you know what spit is, John?
I've heard of it before, and I've seen that logo before.
It's a club on Lansdowne Street, which was like the first punk club. Oedipus was the DJ and everything, and I think he programmed the music.
I think it was in the news the other day or something. I feel like that's why I saw it. They did some article on that.
So this is not original. I don't think they had spit mugs in the day, but I did get this, and I keep thinking, should I keep this? And I go, you never know. And boom, I used it today. So
Bradley, those were great days at Spit, and I'm using my Joey Kramer coffee mug with his.
Oh my God!
Yes,
because Joey Kramer, drummer for Aerosmith, he had his own brand of coffee.
He has his own line of coffee,
which I never understood. I never understood, because the reason you get into a band is so you never have to work. And then he gets in the coffee business. He doesn't need to work. He's a millionaire. He's a millionaire. And yet he's going to trade shows like the Bayside Expo Center, getting up early and going to work to sell coffee. I never got that.
I know. I've gotten to know Joey really well over the last bunch of years, and it's a crowded market. I mean, going into coffee is not an easy thing. Every corner there's a different coffee shop, and there's so much to choose from. But he's done well. He's a dear friend, and we talk often. I love Joey, and so.
I mean, I would just think he'd be relaxing by the pool, right? Isn't that the dream? Kind
of. That's what we would be doing. Us 3 sitting at our pool. Go out in our Lamborghini to get some lunch, and
All right. Well, see you all tonight. Again, we want to save some for tonight. This is going to be the best, the biggest, and the best so far. Each one gets bigger and better tonight. Doors at 5. Show up just after 7. City Winery. See a real show. Eat some great food. And I'm going to be wearing this shirt. So if you see me, come and say hi. If you don't come and say hi,
Yeah.
I will be disappointed.
And you can meet the great David Bieber.
Yeah, that's right.
David Bieber Archives. But yeah, you look very nice just as you are, Bradley. You just come just like that.
That's very kind. Thank you. Okay, I'll see you guys tonight, and that should do it.
Cool.
Bye, John. Bye,
Bye.
Scott.
See you
See you
later.
guys.